Hey guys, welcome back to Dave Does It. I'm Dave, and sometimes I do things. And one of the things that we're going to do today is we're going to tie into our auxiliary hydraulics on our mini excavator here so we can run this mower. So when I bought this excavator, I didn't really have any intentions of actually digging with it or doing any kind of foundation work, excavation work, things like that. I've used it for that, for chores around the house, but my primarily goal for this, for what I do business-wise, was to mow. So we have a 32-inch flail mower here. We got a good deal at auction. We had to go out and see Mr. Dave. He has a machine shop. So we modified this mounting plate here, right? So we chuck the pins up in the lathe, cut them down to my 40mm pin diameter that my machine uses, and then we cut the mounting ears off, as you can see here, and shortened up the span between the pins to fit my machine. So part of the problem I have now is we have to make this work on the machine. So this mower is set up for oil line in, oil line out, and then a case drain. And what the case drain does is it relieves excess pressure in the drive motor when you let off your function. So you'll get a spike when the spool closes. Well, I don't have a case drain on my machine. I have full intentions of adding one. As you can see, there's some other pads here where we can get another steel line and add a case drain. But for the time being, I'm going to be tying into my return. And on a dual function machine, or set up in dual function so you could flow either direction, that's a big no-no because then the case drain doesn't work, right? That has to be a zero pressure return. Well, thankfully, my machine, I'm able to get away with that because the return line has a dump. So there's a tank dump that turns that into a zero pressure return line so it doesn't have to return through the spool valve. So I lose that function side of it when it's in that mode, but it allows us to tie the case drain into the return so we don't have to add in another line for the time being. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward process. Some mini excavators come with dual hydraulics, right? As you can see, my auxiliary hydraulics here are hooked up for my thumb. SANY does something great here where they include the shutoff valve, right? So I could shut this function off, lock my thumb in the up position. So some of the newer machines have diverter valves here. So instead of this being a shutoff, it'll just divert flow from one side to the other. Those are expensive, they're a little pricey. This setup is a lot more common. So I went ahead, we went to the hydraulic shop and I got a T-fitting. So we're gonna take this line off here, put in a T-fitting into a 90 with I guess a pipe adapter, and we're going to add a quick coupler to that. So when we're ready to run our auxiliary attachment, since this is the only attachment I have, this is the primary means of this machine would be to run this mower. We're going to go ahead and shut the valve off. We'll open the return line dump, right? I think some companies call it breaker mode. I think that's how it's referred to here for this machine. You got to open that valve if you're running like a hydraulic hammer. So we're just going to be splitting this apart, adding a T, and we'll have our quick connect. So when we're ready to run our mower, we hook our lines up, shut our valves up, open our dump valve for breaker mode, and then away we'll go. So here's a look at some of the fittings we got. So here's our T. So we got a T, a 90, and then a pipe adapter, right? We got our quick couplers here. We ordered these and our fittings from hydraulic, what is that place called? Surplus Center, right? Surplus Center. So they do a lot in hydraulics. It's all surplus closeouts, kind of taken over for companies. So how this will be set up is this will be the machine side, right? We'll have a coupler, and then our attachments. So that'll be the feed. This will be our return, or vice versa, doesn't really matter. And then we'll have this T with this 90 here. So our case drain, we're going to tie into this 90 going into the T on the return side, because when we open that valve and put it in the breaker mode, we get a zero pressure return, which is what they want for a case drain. So once that happens, we'll be able to run the mower, test it out, see how things work. I got to poke around a little bit. I got to make sure these lines are clear of debris. The case drain I'm probably going to have to take off and blow out, but we can go over all this as we start moving forward with this little project for today. So it's pretty excited. You know, I've had this excavator for a long while. I've been looking for a deal on a mower, and And this one came through auction. It is an off-brand. It's a TMG 32-inch flail mower. So it's not quite a mulcher, right? But it's better than like a disc mower or like a brush cutter. And it has awesome reviews for what it is. It's all over the excavator forums. Well, forums, I guess groups, right? Everybody's on Facebook today. It shows my age talking about forums. But great reviews. Guys love it. There's a handful of guys that have 500-600 hours on this mower and don't have anything ill to say about it. So it came through. I got a deal on it. And hopefully it works. It's a little heavy, which is why you can see I got the mounting position kind of favored forward, right, to try to get some of the weight back towards the machine. It works out for me too, because one of the things that I dislike about this machine is that you don't have enough stroke in the arm, like the arm's too short to reach the backfill blade. So that sucks during cleanup, but it kind of helps us here. So if I curl everything all the way in, I'm still like 16 inches away from the backfill blade at every angle, turning around it, so that's fine for mowing. So I'm gonna grab some tools, open some valves, try to get some rags together, and we'll start taking this apart, making our mess, and adding our hydraulic fittings. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys really quick. This right here is that dump valve for that breaker mode or whatever. So it takes the return line of the auxiliary and just makes it dump directly to tank. So it's now currently in this configuration. I turned it. It's a zero pressure return. So everything that comes down the return aux line just dumps right back to tank. And that's how we're able to get away with not having a case drain. So I have the valves all shut off right now, so our thumb will stay stationary up. I'm gonna get some wrenches and we're gonna add fittings. All right guys, we're over here at the bench vise. I'm gonna put a couple of these fittings together, at least the majority of the pipe thread portions, just in case we do get a lot of drain back. I'll be able to put everything together really quick without trying to have to fumble, and then, you know, the threads are still clean, they're not all oily yet. So we have our Blue Monster sealant. We're gonna go ahead and throw this on our pipe fittings, and then we're gonna get some of these quick couplers set up with our pipe adapters here. Get this stuff all stirred up. I already brushed myself, that's cool. Yeah, this isn't probably going to work out how I thought it was going to. I thought I'd have, my jaw's a little too thick. That works a little better. Nice. Well, there's one. This one I'm not going to be able to grab like that. But I just have to do that one the old-fashioned way with 2 wrenches. Nice and snug. So we just got one more. I think it's a fitting, and that's our combination T90 for our case drain on the return side. So this one we'll be able to put in the vise. all coated up here. Awesome. Now I'll go make a mess on the ground over here pulling these lines off the machine. So this is what we're looking at. We have our T-fitting, our 90, our pipe adapter, and then the quick coupler. So we just got to remove this line, and then we're going to stack her in here. I wanted originally to go off the front, but we're going to get into the actual shut-off valve portion of this valve block where we have to put the wrench. So instead I'm going to come off the rear. And that should give us enough room to get that coupler in there. So all this is loose right now. We're going to crack this line loose, and then I'm going to kind of scurry and try to get it on here so we don't make a super big mess, but we'll see what's going to happen. And the adapter came loose. Awesome. Alright, need another wrench. Hold that thought. Okay guys, now I'm back. Hopefully we can do this without that other adapter coming loose. Bam. There we go. It's loose now. Threads are still tight. I wonder if they put Loctite on them. Some companies do with these DIN fittings. A little more snug than I'd like it to feel. Well, that's not that big of a mess, but we're making a mess. Making a mess. Now we're making a good mess. Out the relief port. Forgot about that. I really hope this works out like I thought it was going to. It might not. Figure I need another wrench now. I'll just snug all these up so it stops leaking everywhere. Got more of a mess to clean up now. But it's in real time, right? You guys get to see all the little mishaps with me. Oh, that sucks. I was hoping since all that was returned, it would be gone. We won't have any oil in the line. But, I mean, you do have that residual, right? You know, when the line is angled down through the boom. I just got to make sure that this coupler fits. Just wiping some of this oil up real quick. I'll spray all this down when we're done. But that's the big concern. Right? Will that still go on there? Oh yeah, we got plenty of room. All right, that works. So I want all these to live here. I'm probably gonna need another wrench again. Snug all this stuff up. Yeah, see, I'm spinning the whole guy. So I need to get something smaller to hold this. That's not too bad. Still, this one's still not quite tight enough. Not quite tight enough. Doing like the wrench dance now, trying to hold everything. Well, these DIN fittings do and will swivel a little bit. There we go. Well, that should be good. So there's the return side done. Now it's a mess. Let's get some spray. Hose this puppy down. Let's run down the boom, cylinder. Alright. Beautiful. Now I'll go make the same mess on the other side. Alright guys, we got this side all situated now too. As you can see, it's very like form-fitting to the boom. Tucks away nicely behind the shutoff valve here. So we gotta get the lines unraveled off the mower. I gotta clean that case drain line because there wasn't a plug on it. And then just have some fittings and we'll be able to hook this up and take it outside and give it a test rip. Pretty excited finally. Alright, down here you guys will be able to see what I was kind of trying to explain with this fitting, right? So we have our case drain, it's going to be going into the 90, and then our return right into the fitting. So eventually I'm going to put a big neon laminated, I don't know, tag on this to remind myself to open that that dump line, like that breaker mode line, just so there's no mishaps. But you kind of get the idea. So that because of the way that this machine's set up, we're able to get away without having a case drain for this attachment. However, by doing this without having a separate case line, I won't be able to spin the mower backwards. So if I get caught up in some cattle fence or some barbed wire or some tough weeds get wrapped around the drum, I can't spin the mower backwards. So that's currently my only downfall. But this stuff's been sitting around for a little bit, and the weather's finally starting to get nice, and we got to get out there and start working it. So this is going to get me by till I can add a case drain, which we will eventually do. But we got to start mowing. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys, what we were thinking here. I'll get all these fittings lubed up with or sealed up with this Blue Monster thread sealant, and then we can go test it out back. Alright guys, we got her all wrapped up, it's all hooked up. As you can see, the lines came out great. So this is how we're working our auxiliary hydraulics, right? When the attachment's not connected here, we'll just have the quick coupler in its place, right? We open the valve back up and now we have operation of our thumb. So this is a more affordable setup. I know it's like a big jumble of fittings, but it's also taking care of the case drain. But it's just a little more affordable than buying a diverter block. And then still having the buy fittings, right? So you can put the quick couplers on. But that's what we got. She's all tied in. I'm gonna go ahead and get this mower greased up, because all we did is take it out of the crate and modify the mounting pad. So we'll get it greased up. I got a little bit of briar patch on the property line. Maybe we'll try it out on that. Maybe we'll go for something a little more. I gotta see where I can get the excavator. The yard's extremely muddy right now. But I just like to try to give it a little rip and see what happens. I just pulled her outside. Let's see if it spins the right way. Oh yeah, look at that, bud. It's a ripper. And that's the right direction. That's cool. Well, let's go track out back and see what we can do. I can't really reach too far out with it. The weight's like borderline for the machine. You know, if you look at our load chart here, let's see, ground level, blade up, full extension over the side is 816 pounds. The mower, the shipping weight was like 610, but then you got to remember, we got the quick coupler plus the thumb, that other hydraulic cylinder for the thumb. So I guarantee you I'm over that. I was playing with it before we brought it in the garage in the back, like reaching out and seeing what it does. With the blade down, it's okay. Blade up, it gets a little light. And over the side, it tries to lift the track. So we're gonna go get in the back, see if we can mow something down. And I'll bring you guys back for some action. All right, guys, this is pretty much everything that I have accessible on my property right now. Let's go ahead and close this side door, bounce you off the glass. This is right on my property line for me and my neighbors. The rest of the yard's still a little too muddy, and I don't want to track a bunch of stuff up, so I'm not going to eat all this, but we're going to attempt to just grab some of it. So I'm going to go ahead and go in the menu here. We're going to go put this on continuous flow, which is right there, and then now we're off. We'll hold it for like 5 seconds, right? See the mower spinning, and now it should continue to spin. Working pretty good in this little briar patch, right? Nobody likes prickers. Oh, look at that. Can't even tell it's there no more, huh? Should have probably tracked in just a hair farther. All my reach right there. Pick the blade up a little bit, move forward. There we go. To get rid of some of these prickers, man. These prickers are brutal. Wow. I'm pretty impressed. You know, this is just a budget mower. You know, it's not a mulcher, it's just a flail mower. But this is why I bought this machine, right? I didn't buy this machine to dig. I bought this machine just for this. And it seems to be working pretty decent at it. We get that big chunk of prickers. No, it's way back there. Pretty impressive. I like determined to get that last little bit of pricker bush. It's this big stem right here. Oh, can't quite get it. Laid down. Let her spool back up. Almost got it. Look at that. I don't know. It's a neat toy. Supposedly it could eat some bigger material if you ease at it. So we're gonna check that out. You see that little stump there? Oh, a little too much. Oh yeah, look at that. That stump's gone. Hell yeah. I dig it. Turn the exhaust flow off. You see the drum should come to a stop. That's really cool. Well, thanks for coming along on my little project today. We got the mower all situated now. This is going to open up a whole new path of revenue for us over here. We're going to be able to do a little bit of clearing. Again, this isn't a forestry mulcher, right? So we're just after brush, but we'll be able to do pond mowing, ditch line mowing, fence line mowing, because we can reach over the fence. So it's really exciting. I'm very pleased with it, and I'm excited to see where this takes us and takes our little business, right? You know, this is the first year that we're full-time in the business. We've been part-time for the last couple years, so gotta get out there, shake some bushes, and do some work. So thank you guys for coming today, being part of this little project. You know, it's one step forward every time you guys are involved, and it really means a lot to me. So if you made it this far, please hit that like button, the bell notification, subscribe. We have a good mix of content coming, especially when we start working. It'll be more of the machine stuff here instead of just the maintenance and the projects I've been trying to get done to get ahead in the season a little bit. So as always, guys, remember, kindness is free. It doesn't cost you anything to be a decent person, and try to inspire someone. Thank you.